Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. Chapter 3. Changing Places. The prince went to the gates of the palace.
"Open the palace gates quickly!"
he ordered. The soldiers opened the gates and Edward went out. One of the soldiers hit him on the head.
"Don't give orders to the king's soldiers, boy."
Edward fell to the ground and said,
"I'm Prince Edward, Prince of Wales."
"Well, then I'm the King of England."
said the soldier, laughing.
"You can go to prison for that,"
said Edward angrily. His face was red. The crowd laughed loudly and said,
"He's mad!"
Edward walked down the road angrily. He forgot about playing by the river and walked in the streets of London. This was his first walk in the city. He was soon lost and tired. His feet hurt a lot because he had no shoes, and his stomach hurt because he was hungry.
"I must go back to the palace,"
he thought. He stopped people and said,
"Show me the way to Westminster Palace."
He never said, "Please," because he was the prince. Some people laughed at him, and others were angry because he was not polite. But no one helped him.
"This is terrible,"
he thought.
"I'm hungry and cold, and I don't know where to sleep tonight. Tom's house is near Pudding Lane. Perhaps Tom's mother and sisters will help me."
Edward walked for a long time in the dark, dirty streets. There was a bad smell everywhere. Then it started to rain and it was cold. Edward was unhappy. Suddenly, he felt a big, heavy hand around his arm.
"What are you doing out at this time, Tom Canty?"
asked a big man.
"Where's the money from your day's work?"
"Ouch! You're hurting me!"
cried Edward.
"Are you his father?"
"His father? I'm your father, you stupid boy."
said John Canty, hitting Edward.
"No! No!"
cried Edward.
"I'm Edward, the Prince of Wales. Your son is in Westminster Palace. He's wearing my clothes and I'm wearing his clothes. We changed places. It was a game. Take me to the palace."
John Canty looked at the boy with cold eyes and said,
"You're mad. Mad."
He took Edward's arm and pulled him down the road.
"You're coming home with me, and tomorrow morning you can start work early and bring some money home."
At the palace, Tom was alone in the prince's room. He looked at himself in the big mirror on the wall and liked his new clothes. He looked at all the beautiful things around him. Pictures of kings, queens, princes and princesses. Lovely chairs and tables. Beautiful glasses and cups. And big plates full of fruit. He touched the prince's sword and played with it for a while. He was happy in the prince's room and liked playing this new game. But after an hour, he was tired of it, and he began to feel afraid. "Where is the real prince?" he thought. Why isn't he back? I must look for him. He opened a big door and saw 4 gentlemen. They bowed to Tom. "Oh!" cried Tom, and shut the door quickly.
How strange!
One gentleman said.
The prince is probably ill.
Let's call his sisters, or Lady Jane.
Said the second gentleman. A beautiful young woman with a kind face opened the door. It was Lady Jane Grey. Tom was afraid and went down on his knees. "Please save me, kind lady," said Tom. "I'm not Prince Edward. My name's Tom Canty, and I'm a pauper. Prince Edward and I change clothes. He's wearing my dirty old clothes, and I'm wearing his beautiful clothes. Please find the prince so I can get my clothes back." "Oh dear, you're ill, Edward," Lady Jane said. "Please come with me. Your father wants to see you." "My father? Is John Canty here?" asked Tom. Lady Jane did not answer him. "The king is very ill," she said sadly. Tom followed her to the king's bedroom. King Henry was in bed, and his face was white. "Here is your son, Your Majesty," said Lady Jane. The king opened his eyes and smiled at Tom.
What's the matter, Edward? Tell your father.
"Are you the king?" asked Tom, looking at the big, fat man.
Of course I'm the king. Don't you know your father?
Tom bowed. "Sir, I'm not your son. I'm not the prince. I'm poor Tom."
Stop this nonsense,
said King Henry.
You are the prince, and you will be king when I die. Now, go and rest before the banquet tonight. There'll be a lot of important men.
Tom and Lady Jane went back to the prince's room. After a short time, Lord Hertford went to see King Henry. Lord Hertford was a short, fat man with a long nose. He was the king's first lord.
Lord Hertford,
Said the king.
I'm very ill, but I must continue working. I have to read and sign many papers. Where is the Great Seal?
You gave it to Prince Edward 2 days ago.
Said Lord Hertford.
I'll go and get it.
Lord Hertford came back without the Great Seal, and he was worried.
Your Majesty,
He said,
the prince can't remember where it is or what it is.
He can't remember? Then he really is ill. The Great Seal is very important. Let's wait until he's better.
At 1 o'clock that afternoon, Tom had lunch. He was surprised when he saw the royal dining room with its gold furniture. Several servants stood near him while he ate. Poor Tom made a lot of mistakes that afternoon, but no one laughed because they thought he was ill. He ate with his fingers and made noises with his mouth. Then he looked at his napkin with great interest. "Please take this lovely napkin away. I don't want to make it dirty. Then he took a lot of nuts and put them in his pockets. At the end of the meal, a servant brought a finger bowl. But Tom did not clean his fingers in it. He drank from it.